There's one big thing that holds back so many writers from ever finishing the first draft of the book they've always wanted to write. But once you make this shift, it will completely transform your writing process and actually allow you to finish a big project like a novel or a memoir. In this video, I'm going to show you a small yet powerful mindset adjustment that will allow you to let go of barriers, bring creative joy into your life, and actually allow you to finish your book. Hi friend, welcome. I'm Kaylee. I'm a writing coach, the creator of Write or Die magazine, and in 2020, I wrote the first draft of my first novel, which would eventually land me a literary agent. At the time of filming this video, we're actually about to go on submission to try to get it published. Before any of that, I almost quit. And had I not learned what I'm going to share today, I probably wouldn't be able to call myself a novelist today. And it all came down to one simple yet big game-changing shift. You have to approach your writing with curiosity and playfulness. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, this sounds very fluffy and vague, I know that's how I felt the first time I heard it too. But once I really understood what it meant and actually put it into practice, it completely changed the game for me. So the truth is, the writers that can't make it past page 50, that obsess over the perfect outline, that blame writer's block for why they have stalled, they all have one thing in common. They are fixated on needing to know the entire plot of their book before they even start writing. And therefore, that need for control, that energy of perfectionism completely zaps their creative energy and they feel like they can't keep writing. But when you allow yourself to relax and let go, your subconscious takes over and does the work for you. Remember, storytelling is a right brain activity. When we start trying to figure out logical solutions for human behavior and scenarios, we're out of a story. This is what happened to me. Back when I started my novel in 2020, I only knew two things. I knew there was going to be a mother-daughter story, and I knew the setting. That's it. And at the time, I was reading a lot of craft books because I was thinking that I needed to be as prepared as possible before I started writing the book. And so I got really obsessed with all things craft. And a lot of the books talked about outlining, mapping your whole book as sort of a guideline to how to get there while you're writing it. And that just did not align with me. But at the time, because I was still new to this, I thought there was something wrong with me, that I didn't know all the elements of my story, and therefore I was doing this wrong. But thankfully, during that time, the right book actually did fall into my hands. I was listening to a podcast where Otessa Moshfegh, the author of My Year of Rest and Relaxation, and one of my personal favorites, Eileen, she talked about how she taught herself how to write a novel by using a book called The 90-Day Novel by Alan Watt. And what I learned in that book completely changed my writing life, and that's what we're going to break down today. So in the book, Alan Watt says, when we give ourselves permission to write poorly, everything changes. I'm going to say that again. When we give ourselves permission to write poorly, everything changes. This is when we hold it all loosely, as Alan says in the book. We let go of control and we trust that our subconscious and that our own creativity is going to take over. So instead of starting your book and feeling as though you need to come what next, be playful. Think about a little kid when they're playing with their toys. They're not going into their playtime with their Barbies having a mapped out outline of what is going to happen when they start to play. They're just playing. So that's what you kind of need to do, is bring that sort of playful energy to the page. Every time you sit down, think, I'm going to be curious today. I'm going to put my character in a weird situation and see how she gets out of it. I'm going to ask myself questions and be curious about what questions build on the answers to those questions. I'm going to start every sentence and just be curious about what comes next. This also makes writing fun, which I think we often forget that this is fun and this is something we choose to do. In my opinion, there is no greater feeling than leaving a writing session and being like, whoa, where did that come from? It's so magical and it's my favorite part of being a writer. So if you're still feeling overwhelmed or confused by this idea, let's break down a few practical steps that you can apply to your draft. Number one, and my personal favorite, you can skip a scene. This is draft one, baby. I mean, you're gonna be revising this thing a million times, so you can be rest assured that you're going to be going back to the scene that you're going to skip. So just write a little TK, which stands for to come, and move on. If you know what's gonna happen after the scene you're stuck on, put that little TK there and just move on. Number two, you can write out of order. Again, this is your draft. There's no rules. If you are writing in the beginning and you get a great idea for the middle, you can jump to the middle. You can start writing in the middle and work your way back to the end or work your way to the beginning. Whatever you want to do that's going to keep the writing coming, just skip a scene and write out of order. Number 3, talk to your characters. There's going to be a lot of writing that you're going to do here that's not going to actually end up in the draft, but it's still so important. I remember for my own draft, there was a time where I thought maybe the mother character was going to have her own chapters, and so I wrote many chapters from her perspective. My book now is entirely in first person from my main character, so that's not how the final, well, as far as final can be. That's not how it looks now. But all of that writing was discovering even more about my mother character. And so I learned so much about her, even though those specific words didn't end up in the draft. So if you're feeling stuck, be playful and ask your character a question and then answer it in their voice. In the 90-Day novel, Alan Watt actually gives a lot of stream of conscious exercises or prompts that can help you do this. I'm not really a super writing prompt person, but I really loved these. Some examples were, one thing you still don't know about me is ... or the lie I continuously tell myself is ... I found this so helpful to keeping me writing, unlocking different layers of my characters, and again, just keeping me writing. Number 4, avoid information overload. I kind of already touched on this, that when I was writing my draft, I was consuming way too many craft books, but I really want to say that it was information overload that left me paralyzed because I was also listening to podcasts. And so I was getting all this information and all these opinions, and it was completely making me freeze on the page. I rewrote the first few pages of my novel over and over based off of all the information I was getting, and it was just not helping me. So if this sounds like you, I would definitely recommend adding some silence into your life. Stop and think, what do I actually think? You're the writer, you have the writing instincts, you know what you like and you know what you want to do. And I think at this stage in the first draft where we're being playful and curious, you don't need anyone else's opinions. Number 5, repeat to yourself, it doesn't have to be good. It just has to be mine. I promise you that someday it will be good, but right now in your first draft, it's not going to be. In order to build this story and learn more about your characters and all the things that goes into storytelling, it has to be bad right now, and you have to embrace that. To wrap up, I just want to reiterate how bad my draft was of the novel that I wrote. My main character just sort of walked around and kind of experienced things, had really bad conversations with people. There was no plot. There was TKs all over the book. But when I was done, finished with that draft, I had a beginning, a middle, and an end. I had something that I can work with. That is the whole point of this first draft, is not for it to be good, but it to be something that you're going to then spend many months and years shaping into something. And that is what you want. This is not your last draft, so you don't have to be so precious about it. And I say this knowing how important it is to write a first draft, to finally make an attempt at telling the story that's just been on your heart or in your mind for weeks, months, or maybe even years. It's a huge endeavor to tackle a novel, but trust me, it is a life-changing and creatively stimulating and really exciting process once you're able to let go and remember that you just have to keep writing and trust the process. And if you want to dive deeper into novel writing, I have a Substack called In the Weeds where I have been documenting all of my many drafts, all of my revisions, how exactly I got my literary agent. You can find that in the description if you want to sign up for free, and I will see you over there or in my next video.